magic at smilescasino.com, where you can enjoy the thrills of Las Vegas at home or on the go. With hundreds of the games you know and love and new ones added daily, nothing else even comes close to the kind of fun you'll find here.
Smiles Casino is a free-to-play social casino. No purchase necessary.
Sign up today for an incredible welcome bonus.
Forever free, forever fun. At Smiles Casino, you won!
Mr. Monopoly here. Monopoly is back at McDonald's. Register in the McDonald's app so you're ready to
get your bag.
2 ways to peel for a chance to
get your bag.
Physical peels with select items and digital peels with others to
get your bag.
Play Monopoly at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
No purchase necessary. See rules at playatmcd.com for full details and amoe.playatmcd.com to play without purchase. Ends November 23rd, but bonus play ends November 2nd. Monopoly is a registered trademark of Hasbro. Copyright McDonald's.
I know you're gonna dig this.
Welcome to another episode of the Endzone Club, where you get to kick it with your host, who is also affectionately known in his own corner as Anthony Mitchell. Give it up, give it up, give it up for today's podcast episode. Hey, listen, here at the Endzone Club, we have conversations that are wrapped around things we know now, we wish we knew when we were younger. And with that said, our purpose is to help you go from trying to just figure out what it is I'm supposed to do in life to actually fulfilling your purpose. With that said, today's topic will be epic. But before I can go live with you guys and share with you the contents of my heart, let's let the beat roll out, because we got to pay some bills here. So let's hear from a word from our sponsors. And let's go live in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everyone. This is Andre Truitt, representative for Just Gifted Clothing Brand. If you have individual talent of any kind, we are talking to you. Join this clothing brand that has built a community of people that encourages others to use their gifts and talents. Man, we are the fastest growing brand that you haven't heard of yet. To find out what we're really about, just go to justgiftedclothingbrand.com. Let me spell that out for you. JUSGIFTED clothingbrand.com. One more time for you. JUSGIFTED clothingbrand.com. Talent in any way, you're just gifted.
Let's give it up for Andre. Hey, Dre is truly an honor to work with. I promise you guys that. It's been very great, again, just having a guy like him as a friend that supports the podcast and is always there with an encouraging word, a great spirit, whatever support he can provide. I want to share this about him real quickly as I get ready to transition into today's podcast episode. We just do it all in one. But for those of you who are new to the podcast, I will say I am military. However, the views that are expressed here at this podcast do not necessarily reflect military values. I have to say that because there are just some things that I believe that maybe just don't fit in a political party, maybe just aren't easily seated in the hearts of some people that are here. Maybe it's hard for them to digest just some topics and some views that I hold very near and dear, and some things I just don't even care to hear about. That's just the person I am. It's all of our rights as Americans to have certain things that we live and die on. That's my right. So I will say that. But one thing I'll say about Dre is last year, I was deployed out in the Middle East from the months of March through the early parts of July. And I promise you, I thought here in the States, that especially the South, and various parts of the South are hotter than others, because I'll say living throughout Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, that heat is real. However, several years ago, I had to go into the Orlando, Clearwater, St. Pete area, and I promise you, that humid heat is different the closer you get to the Gulf Coast of Mexico than it is in other parts of the country. Oh man, I promise you, it felt like every day working, somebody had taken a plastic bag and held it over my head. And this is just in Florida. However, now going into the Middle East, that heat of 117 to 120 degrees that we experienced, I get nightmares thinking about it. It was so hot. I would apply sunscreen every day, and just the sunscreen would begin to pop, and it would it would melt. I promise you, it melted in that weather. Like one day, I put on a SPF protected lip liner. I'm sorry, not even lip liner. I need to say that again. So I put on lip chat, or whatever you call it where you're from, that was SPF protected up to like a very high degree. And I remember walking from our dining facility to our dorm, which was almost 100-degree plus or minus 15 degrees. I can't remember exactly how hot it was. I just remember it was well over 100. And it was so hot, I put on my sunglasses. And with my sunglasses on, I was still squinting in the sun, walking that way, basically walking by faith because it's too hot and too bright for me to open my eyes. This mile trip, just praying, Lord Jesus, don't let this be how I go out. And man, I make it back to my room, and by then my chapstick had just melted and it had burned the lining of my lips to where now my lips are bubbling because it's like somebody's put fish grease on my face in this sun, and I am in distress. But while I was in the Middle East, I tell you, I'm surrounded by a lot of different brothers from a lot of different walks of life. We do a lot of different things together. But Just Gifted brand was the most consistent brother for my spiritual walk that was there with me, checking in, wanting to pray, wanting to be just mentally available, spiritually available, up to the point where he was calling me, asking me questions and praying and offering words of encouragement. And I appreciate it. And he was rushing me to go ahead and get back because he believes in what we're doing here and what we're building in the community, and was even offering or even lining up special guests for the podcast. So guys, one more time, let's give it up for the main man. So anyway, just coming back on the flip side, 1 second, guys, 1 second. So just coming back on the flip side, I want to give it up for Dre one more time. But y'all, with that said, it's important in life. Again, one of the things I do want to talk about, I was just reminiscing, as one of my classmates here, maybe a week or so ago, reached out. They had, and when I say they, several classmates had devised this plan after watching She the People by none other than Tyler Perry. If you don't know what She the People is about, the gist of it is that it's based in Mississippi, and we see historically a place that has never had a black governor. You see her rise from lieutenant governor to governor, and just the overall arch of it is it's a comedic piece, but it's exploring unexplored territory. You know, even though we're talking about we're in an age of DEI and equity and inclusion and pulling yourselves up by the bootstraps, there are still some places that are still going to experience some racial firsts. And I get it. But after they had watched the show, they had come up with this bright idea that they thought I should pledge in a fraternity, which they thought I should pledge Q-Dog. No, you know, nothing against any of the others. I'm just telling you guys what was recommended. But they wanted me to pledge Q-Dog. And from there, the Q-Dogs would get behind me and we would rise to victory, and I'd be the first black governor of the state of Mississippi. Hey, give it up to them to thinking about me for having that kind of potential. But the reality is, one of the drawing points I take from some of these conversations I have with some of my friends is that they believe in me, and that we don't have a sense of competition, or we don't have a sense of the popularity contest disease that strikes a lot of individuals with aspirations at a very young age. I'm seeing more and more that we, in a lot of these environments, don't know how to gauge talent, right? We don't know how to see potential and to judge the real from the fake. I have had this conversation so many times, especially growing up in the church world, where people will come to me and say, hey, what do you think about this individual or that individual? Some new voice, some new talent, some new great thing that's popping up. And I'm not saying I'm talented or I'm great or I'm anything, but one thing I can do is judge character. And I've seen some people that have worked their behinds off just to be able to rise through the ranks, and gifted, talented, dedicated, consistent, motivated, determined. I have seen these individuals time and time again get looked over for something I think that they have rightfully earned. They have the talent, they have the temperament, they have the ability to lead the people, they have the respect of the people. But then it comes down sometimes where in popularity contests, there are some of those who have put forth the bare minimum, that know how to work the buddy system, that know how to game the system, that sometimes seem to get exalted. So when you have a few weeks ago, you have Anthony Mackie, who plays the new character of Captain America. He's assumed the shield. Doesn't quite look like Captain America. Some differences. However, he's in an interview that caused a lot of uproar when he's telling the hosts of the show who are interviewing him, that have asked him a question in regard to what's some advice that he gives his kids about success. And in his own words, he is saying it's not about sometimes how hard you work, because he's seen some of the hardest working, most talented individuals get overlooked. Sometimes it's about who you know and your ability to network. And to this degree, I am perplexed that is a thing. But going back to this, I am discouraged that sometimes we don't realize that within having discernment will show you something beforehand, that it takes time to unfold. Does that make sense? For example, my parents used to be the best at judging character. There have been a few friends that I brought over to play video games and do various things, friends do. And it was not very long before my mom or my dad would say, hey, I don't want him back over my house. Or there would be certain people that they hadn't heard from in a while. They would say, hey, what happened to your friend that, the one that worked with you, the one that drove, the little Nissan Altima or the Honda Civic? What happened to him? I thought I liked him. Their discernment was pretty spot on, because every one that they had ever said, I do not want over my house, there was a part of me that already kind of knew that there was probably not much connection in this friendship. However, maybe there's some people that we join friendships with, that sometimes people attach themselves to us for the wrong reason, or vice versa. I've had several of those, and it's just weird to me how every single time my parents were able to look through those connections and were able to say, hey, this, no. Or some of the nerdy friends who maybe weren't popular, who maybe for whatever reason, there's just some people we just maybe mean us well, but maybe they tell us the truth, tell us things about ourselves we don't like to hear. Sometimes we shy away from those people. But them having that sense of discernment, that was something I always admired about them. I felt like, man, if life were a game of lottery, they would hit the jackpot every time. I don't know what has happened, but it feels like that sense of discernment and being able to sense and being able to just have that sense of consciousness where you're able to, that's how grandma used to taste the food as she was cooking. You're not able to taste that something is missing. Now I see we have loosely begin to apply the term brother, friend, companion, accomplice, whatever it is. We put familial terms on people too quickly. Oh, that's my boy. Man, that's my big bro. I have people that call me big bro that would never in real life even do just the due diligence of really getting a chance to know me, knowing what I like, knowing what my colors are, knowing who my sports teams are. There are people in my life right now, if you were to stop them and talk with them, if you hear them talk about me, you would think, man, that's the closest person I have in my life in the world. But the reality is, there aren't many brothers like Dre that aren't talking about it, but that are actually doing it. So, in a sense of living in a world where everything's a popularity contest, I have seen this too many times. We will shine the light on people that make us look a certain kind of way, or that just by reason of connection, we have something to gain. Man, I wish I had more time because this is a topic I really want to carry on with, because I am in a lot of circles of people of affluence, and I have seen this more often than not. We could try our best to be seen by celebrities, by entertainers, by athletes who mean us no well or don't even know we exist, more than trying to connect with the people in our lives that mean us well. Anyway, this is the Endzone Club. It's over. Gotta go. 3 seconds. Goodbye.
Forever free, forever fun. At Smiles Casino, you won!
Experience the magic at smilescasino.com, where you can enjoy the thrills of Las Vegas at home or on the go. With hundreds of the games you know and love and new ones added daily, nothing else even comes close to the kind of fun you'll find here.
Smiles Casino is a free-to-play social casino. No purchase necessary.
Sign up today for an incredible welcome bonus.
Forever free, forever fun. At Smiles Casino, you won!
The Omaha Steaks Semi-Annual Sale is here. Save 50% site-wide on legendary steaks, beefy burgers, cozy comfort meals, and more. Don't wait. Shop now to save 50% site-wide on steaks and more during the semi-annual sale at omahasteaks.com. Plus, get an extra $35 off with code SAVEBIG at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, code SAVEBIG. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details. Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. You need the right person with the right background who can move your business forward. If you want candidates who truly match what you're looking for, trust Indeed Sponsored Jobs. With Indeed Sponsored Jobs, your post stands out to quality candidates who actually fit the role. According to Indeed data, 90% are more likely to be hired and trusted by 1.6 million companies. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. Now with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help your job get the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/Podcats13. Just go to Indeed.com/Podcats13 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/Podcats13. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed.